and welcome to Mental Health Insights for Enlightened Community. Today we have with us a remarkable lady. She is not just brilliant, but incredibly warm. She is an author, a book writing expert, and an international life coach. She writes on the subjects and themes of self-confidence and bullying. She also runs a successful podcast, which is presently being heard in 44 countries. Please let me welcome Esther Buerki. Esther, thank you for being a part of this discussion. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Umme, to have me here. I'm so excited to be here today.
So Esther, to start off with this discussion, my first question to you is, tell us, you've published like 3 books, and most of those are stories related to children and to parents, and you try to communicate your message to a larger audience with the form of a story. And especially you've concentrated on the subject of self-confidence and bullying. How did you think about these subjects, and what has your journey been like?
Thank you so much for this great question, Umme. So self-confidence has always been my problem. Since I'm a child, I was so fearful. I didn't dare to speak to my teachers. I started crying when I had to start talking to my teachers. And I always felt so ashamed that I always wanted to have more self-confidence. And that's why I always write about self-confidence, because it took me so many years to get over this fear, and it's only in the past years when I started publishing also my books, I got over this fear, or I jumped into this fear.
Wow. That's fantastic, because it's very difficult to write about and share with the world about our own problems, and you've been able to do it so wonderfully and display it to the world. Self-confidence, of course, is the subject that comes out from in your books. But if you talk about the area of bullying, even that is highlighted in most of your stories. Why bullying as a subject, and why did you highlight it so much?
I think bullying is also related with self-confidence, because children who don't have enough self-confidence, they get bullied because they can't say to the other child, hey, you're mean to me, or what are you doing? I'm strong. So that's why I started about bullying also, and it's also kind of a personal story. I felt bullied at school, and also my younger son, who is now 15, but when he was small, he didn't like to go to school. He wanted to stay home with me and our cat. And that's why I also wrote Leonor and Lulu, my first children's book story.
Wonderful is the way that you have displayed and shared with the world your stories. And I was reading about those stories, and they're very fascinating to hear. And of course, one can book those books to your website, right? Which is Swiss Made Stories. So tell me also something about your podcast that you run, which is presently being heard in 44 countries. Your podcast, which is Living Without Fear. How did you come up with this topic, living without fear? And what made you inspire to speak on that topic?
Thank you, Umme, for asking me this question. I love talking about living without fear, because I didn't succeed in doing. And also, only last year, I discovered the techniques, how I can change fear into power and self-confidence. And I started writing my own story 1 year ago. And then I chose the title Living Without Fear. And when COVID hit, I was nearly done with my book, but it wasn't ready yet. So I felt I can't write a book or publish a book, Living Without Fear, without knowing where our world is going, because COVID was it wasn't understandable for anybody in this world.
Yes.
And that's why I started my podcast. Actually, I started because many of my mentors and teachers, in the beginning, in February, March, there wasn't anybody talking because everybody was like shocked. What's going on in this world? And even Deepak Chopra, my big mentor for meditation, he wasn't talking. So I thought, I want to talk now because I want to give confidence. I want to help people to get out of this fear. I mean, you can be fearful every moment, but you can get rid of your fear every moment too. So that's why I started my podcast, Living Without Fear.
That's beautiful and fantastic. I have heard your podcast, and of course it's very soothing to hear your voice every time you play it, and of course the words give a lot of courage to people. So in your podcast, of course, you share various strategies. Since we are having a discussion, can you quickly tell us few strategies that people can start implementing in their life so that they can live a life without fear?
Thank you, Umme. So the most important thing is that we live in the present, because fear belongs to things which happened in the past, or worries. We don't live in the now, in the present state, when we are worried about things which could happen in the future. So the most important point and the most difficult one is just to live in the present. And then if you realize this, if you can do it every moment, live your present state, then you're not in fear anymore. But it's so difficult, and I know I have to work on myself every day, every moment, to get out of this fearful state.
As you just mentioned, living in the present, but it's of course easier said than done. How can one live in present? Because we all know about this, that one should live in the present, but it is our past and the future that always interferes in our present. Now, if I, as a person, want to live in present, what are the steps that I can consciously take to live in present?
One thing which helped me a lot is being grateful. When I'm able to be grateful of really the smallest thing which happens in my life. Maybe it's just the sunshine, or maybe it's just a smile on another face, or if it's only, I don't know, we can be grateful for everything we have around us. We can be grateful for just the place we are living in. We can be grateful that we can see, that we can move, that we have hands and arms. And so I was listening to Tony Robbins this weekend, and there was one guy who didn't have any real arms and legs, but he had so much power. And so when we are grateful for the small things in our lives, then we see how beautiful our life is.
Wow.
And when we take off the focus on the things which don't work in our lives, when we just focus on the good things, then more good will come.
Yeah, and that is the law of abundance, of course. When you focus on good, more good will come to you. Can you share us more strategies? Do you have more strategies on living without fear? Anything else? So one is living in present, but do you have something more to say on the same topic?
An important point is also that we focus on the good things. We said it already. We focus on that our cup is half full and not half empty.
Okay.
This is also, but maybe if we are in a miserable state of mind, maybe if we have sorrows because somebody around us is sick or is dying or so, we can change. I can change for myself that I want to be in a beautiful state of mind, and I can change this now. I mean, I can't do anything about the other person who is sick. If I'm miserable, I don't help this person if I'm miserable. I can help this person if I'm in a beautiful state of mind.
It also brings us to an important point of mindset, which you just shared with us. So how can one bring about a shift in mindset? You said one can bring about a shift in mindset and change the sorrows and into more happiness or joy. How can one bring about this shift? And as you know, of course, mindset is very important for goal achievement. It plays a very important role. So how does this shift in mindset take place?
Everybody has an emotional home. So somebody maybe has an emotional home which is built on sorrows and fear. But we can decide that we want to change that, because it doesn't serve us if we always stay in sorrows and anxiety and worries, and so it doesn't serve us at all. So we can decide in one moment that we want to change our lives, that we want to change our state. But I can change it. I cannot change it just for my whole life. It's a steady work, and it's work every day. It's work every minute. I cannot think, well, now I got it. Super, wonderful. No, it's repetition of I try again. I fall down. As a kid, when I learned walking, I fall down so many times, but I stood up and I tried again. And this is exactly what I think is so important in mindset work, that we keep it a steady work.
So very well mentioned that we need to, of course, it's a steady work, and self-work is a process, it's a journey. It's not like a pill or a medicine that you just pop in and feel, okay, now I'm free from all my worries. It's a gradual process. But can you share with our viewers one or two strategies that one can use which can help to bring about a change in mindset? So for example, if I am procrastinating for a long time and I'm not able to reach my goals, can you share one or maybe two strategies by following which I may be able to shift my mindset? Or if I'm very sorrowful or very unhappy, what strategy can I use that I start becoming happy? And how can I change or bring about this shift?
I think everybody has to ask herself or himself, what life do I want to live? Do I want to live a life with a lot of fear, anxiety, worries? Or do I want to have a life full of joy, of gratitude, of beautiful things? And you can make this decision once a day. Yes. You can make this decision again every minute if you really want to have this beautiful life. Yeah.
Yes. So what you're saying is, of course, constantly reminding yourself that, do I want to lead a happy life? Do I want to live a sad life or a happy life? And then consciously taking the decision towards happiness and joy. Right? And that's the question that we need to keep on talking, our self-talk, am I doing the right thing? Am I working towards my goal? Am I achieving what I wanted to do? Am I just procrastinating? What else can I do to achieve my goals? So it is constantly questioning ourselves, right? So that's one of the important things in the self-talk. Anything else, Esther, that you would want to add?
So what you were mentioning, that in our head there are constantly going on questions about ourselves, procrastination. It's going on. You cannot stop it. I couldn't stop it until I started meditating. And then I really lost this fear and anxiety. And so it's important just to listen to myself and listen what I'm telling myself. Maybe I'm telling myself the whole day, oh, I'm not good at that. I cannot do that. This is nothing for me because I don't have the skills to do that. But if I listen to myself and if I tell myself, I really want to do that. Maybe I don't know how I can do it at the moment, but I decide I want to do that. Then there will be the way, the journey, how to do it. But it's internal work. And if you listen all the time what you're telling yourself, then you start realizing sometimes how your self-talk is not beautiful at all. It's negative. Once when I started doing with this work, I really did it 2 days along. I was always paying attention what I'm telling myself. And I was shocked. The first day I was so shocked because my self-talk was so negative. And then when I started doing it, I cannot get free of all this negative self-talk. It's steady work again. But once I get it, it helps a lot.
That's true. And of course, it's a very difficult process, what you have just mentioned. It's only when a person starts doing it that they will realize that, oh my God, this is what I have been thinking. And maybe this is the cause of most of my problems. And bringing about that change in thought process and mindset is what makes a difference in a person's life. And that's what I have read and heard your podcast is all about. Also, Esther, there's another question that I wanted to ask you, which I have, throughout hearing you speak a lot about gratitude. And in our discussion also, of course, you did mention about gratitude. We know, and maybe many of us may have heard, that gratitude is very important and it's a part of our culture, most cultures, that one should appreciate and show gratitude. But it's a very difficult process. Nothing comes easy, and it's a part of self-work. So can you share us a few strategies? Again, I mentioned, strategies, so that people here have some takeaway, or whoever is listening to you today. Any strategies that you will share with our viewers as to how one can lead a life full of gratitude?
Yeah, thank you for asking this. I had a hard time with gratitude for many years because I'm conditioned by Christian religion and also by my parents who told me, you're not grateful at all for what we give to you, and you're not grateful for this and that. And gratitude was something connected with my parents, and that I was not good at it. And last year, when I started with the meditation, I suddenly realized what gratitude is. And then to really celebrate gratitude, I started my Instagram account. And since then, I always put something I'm grateful for on my pictures. I always do my meditation. And after that, I put a post on my Instagram account and telling what I'm grateful for that. And since I'm doing that, I really realized how my gratitude just, exploded.
So you shared with the world as to what you are thankful about, and that made you feel gratitude and more positive and attract more positivity. towards you, right? And I'm sure a lot of our viewers also, of course, not everybody needs to post things on Instagram, but a gratitude could be a simple thing where maybe somebody is just writing down on a sheet of paper every day as to what they are thankful about. And as you have always spoken about this, that writing always heals. And through writing, one can express gratitude, or just saying maybe thank you to a lot of people who have contributed in your life in some way, maybe big or even small, can make a person feel good about themselves as well as the other people who have contributed in your life. So I think that is one thing. Living a life with gratitude can be extremely powerful. Thank you, Esther, for highlighting to us the power of mindset and expressing gratitude and joy. I'm so grateful that you accepted this invitation and were able to share with the audience some powerful tips and techniques. Thank you so much once again for being a part of this discussion.
And thank you so much, Umme, for having me here and sharing my thoughts. And I'm so grateful that I can be here and maybe you can have a takeaway. And if you really want to learn more, just go to my podcast. There are nearly 50 episodes now, and I'm sure you'll find something which can help you. So thank you.
Thank you so much.